In a world of constant remakes and zero originality, there is one game that I thought would never see the light of day again.
Why don't you try using some deodorant? Because honestly, you smell like shit!
Lollipop Chainsaw was originally released in 2012 for the Xbox 360 and PS3, providing us with an unexpected collaboration between Grasshopper Manufacture developer Goichi Suda and director James Gunn. These two would go on to create this hack-and-slash zombie game featuring A-list celebrities and friends of Gunn, such as Michael Rooker, Linda Cardellini, and brother Sean Gunn. They would also get high-profile voice actress Tara Strong to play the main protagonist, Juliet. The game had mixed reviews upon release, praising its style and characters, but not its below-average gameplay. It did sell over 1 million copies, which might be surprising to you, since it was this campy, vulgar zombie game with a cheerleader and a chainsaw. As much as I adored this game, I did have some problems with the original, regarding its repetitive gameplay and wonky controls with certain weapons. That being said, I'm excited to dive into Lollipop Chainsaw Repop and see everything that has been changed, improved, or taken out. Will this game be as raunchy as the original? Because there were a few things that were said in that game that would probably not slide now. A game that was never ported to modern consoles is finally here, and after a decade, I can't wait to dig my teeth into this one. The menu features a brand new original song that is a certified banger, which fills the slot of Cherry Bomb. The game opens up with main protagonist Juliet Starling waking up in her bed. Today is her 18th birthday, which means it's okay to be a creeper. I think it's now worth mentioning that Suda and Gunn actually had no connection to this remake, and is now being developed by Kadokawa Games. Yoshimi Yasuda is now the director of this game, being one of the original executive producers on the 2012 release. He's been very active on X promoting the game and kept all fans in the loop on changes, licenses, and upcoming renders. The first few minutes of this game is just a very long intro, giving plenty of exposition on Juliet's family and their secret zombie hunting double life. The amazing 1, 2, 3, 4 song is gone. Honestly, I would have gave in to having load screens if they played that song each time. But on that note, we do get loading screens on a PS5 port, and they look bad. It's this one key art of all the characters that looks really cool, but for some reason the quality drops tremendously every time the screen is loading. I genuinely can't tell if this was on purpose or they actually just made it look this bad. I think the main highlight that remasters usually do or need to get right is graphics. I mean, the whole point of remasters are to see your favorite characters beautifully in 4K rather than that shitty 1080p. The game looks washed out in a lot of areas. I'm gonna use this video here quickly as an example to show you a side-by-side comparison of the intro, and yes, you can clearly see here that the remaster brightens the game, but it loses its pop. Ha! Get it? Cause it's called Repop? I know, I'm so fucking funny. What it does primarily lose is the black cartoon outline of the characters. The new game is trying to opt out for realism and fails. We lose that Suda51 aesthetic style. Guys, this is evil purple here. Don't tell normal purple. But if you haven't played the original, who cares? Look, I experienced Silent Hill 2 for the first time on PS Now. The remastered version. Okay, I genuinely didn't think it was that bad until I got the copy for the PS2. Look, all I'm trying to say is don't let a few graphical changes discourage you from buying the game. Yeah, it doesn't look great, but it doesn't look terrible. I'm sure the average person is not gonna dust off their PS3 and buy the original version for more than the damn remaster. When this game was first announced, they marketed it as a remake, which means the game would need to be rebuilt from the ground up. What we have now is the exact same game with upscaled graphics, if you call it that, and 60 FPS. And look, I don't know what the fuck was going on here with this first look of Juliet, but she looks exactly like her original model in game. I'm currently playing on normal, but you can also play on easy and hard. The premise of this game is that a school student named Swan wants to get back at the students for being bullied. So he summons a handful of big bosses for Juliet to defeat, while also turning everyone into zombies. I don't mean to overanalyze here, but damn, how common are zombies in this world that Juliet's whole family hunts them for a living? And where are they going to hunt the zombies? These are just questions we don't ask for stories like this, because then you're just gonna ruin the game for yourself. The story primarily takes place at San Romero High School, a nod to director George A. Romero. After playing the intro and getting used to all the controls again, there was one thing that kept bugging me. Every time a cutscene would play, my TV sound would go over standard decibels. So I grabbed my headphones and said, "This can't be the game, right?"
Oh god! Oh fuck! Ah, god! Where's my fucking body? Oh fuck!
Don't get mad! I didn't know what to do!
How am I still alive? How am I still talking without a fucking thorax?
During every cutscene, whoever was talking, their audio would be clipped. This is the result of poorly mixed audio. And my, this is for sure one of the biggest downside this remaster has. I am a sucker for cutscenes, but I couldn't really enjoy any of them here with its screeching audio. Hopefully they do patch this in the future because this is a pretty big issue. Side note, I can't believe I'm playing freaking Lollipop Chainsaw on my PS5 right now. This is insane. So Juliet continues fighting zombies, and the game plays like your average hack and slash, where you get stuck inside an area and must defeat a certain amount of enemies to move on. She finally meets up with her boyfriend Nick, but unfortunately he's been bitten by a zombie. He's ready to die, but Juliet says, "Wait, I have an idea." And the next time Nick wakes up, he's a decapitated head.
Without a fucking thorax!
The story plays out really great here with the awesome cutscenes showing what Nick would look like if he turned into a zombie. As a story plot point and something I was talking about earlier, there has been a lot of controversy online regarding the fact that big companies like IGN don't want to review this game. Maybe because of its strong, sexy female protagonist, which skirt you can look up, or the fact that you have a man's head as a fashion accessory. Either opinion, this game is not for everyone, and not everyone is gonna like it, just like everything else. But I love classic fashion B-movie zombie films, and this game is naturally put in that same category. Now let's move on to gameplay. It's your typical hack and slash from the PS3 era, although it does not beat out games like Devil May Cry 4 and Bayonetta. The hacking and slashing can get very smooth and satisfying at times, but I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't getting my ass beat every 2 seconds by zombies. I'll click square and X, but for some reason it just didn't feel like it was translating. For me, a lot of the time if you're performing an attack and a zombie goes to hit you, you will get hit midway. Every time I would try to do multiple combos back to back, Juliet would either miss or fall, which dazes her out for a few seconds and is a nightmare when there's loads of zombies around. Maybe I just fucking suck at the game, but I would start a move and just have it kaboom right in my face. And there would be times where I would kind of get stun locked because most areas have this one bigger enemy that can do these power attacks to Juliet. While we are on the topic of gameplay, let's quickly talk about Chop to Shop. Chop to Shop is just a small little market area that appears all around the map. Here you can buy health and upgrades, new skills for Juliet to master, new music, and concept arts. They show up pretty often, so if you're ever on low health, you can always buy lollipops here, which are used as a healing item. I don't know if it's just me that remembers this, but I could have sworn that I couldn't fully upgrade Juliet in one playthrough. Like, I remember coins being way harder to collect before. About midway through this game, I was able to purchase all of Juliet's skills upgrades, as well as her character upgrades. I personally find this kind of crazy because usually the whole point of hack and slash games are to replay them until you can buy every single skill in the item shop, which usually takes about 2 to 3 playthroughs. Juliet doesn't seem to have a big variety of skills, and I think the worst part is that a lot of them feel very similar to each other. I found myself only using maybe 3 or 4 combos just because a handful of them felt weak and wouldn't really do too much to down the zombies. Throughout the levels, you receive a few assets to upgrade your chainsaw, such as a chainsaw blaster and chainsaw dash. Chainsaw blaster is just like a gun attached to your chainsaw. The auto aim can be really pissy most of the time and will automatically change who it wants to shoot and when it wants to. You can change the setting to have it manually shoot instead. However, the controls for the aiming still feel just as bad as the original. The chainsaw dash also has its moments too. This will allow you to dash over big objects quickly and lets you zoom across zombies, collecting dash liquid and coins. The main problem that I have with the dash is perfect placement. My aim is not that good, and sometimes the areas that point you on where to dash would be super small, meaning if you don't dash exactly on the rainbow, you don't jump. This got me mad so many times because I would have to keep redoing it over and over again until I perfectly dashed where the arrows were. Anyways, comment down below if you had problems with this or I just suck ass. One thing I noticed about this game is that the QTEs are fake. What I mean by that is that the game automatically sets the QTEs to auto. So make sure that when you do start the game, you change it to manual so you can actually click the QTEs and have them work instead of them just doing it itself. Another thing I would like to mention is auto-saving and checkpoints. The game does not tell you where any checkpoints are, and the only reason why I knew where some of them were was because I played the original game. I once paused this game at a checkpoint that I did on my PS3 once. I turn on my PS5 the next day and I see that it started me back off to the beginning of the chapter. Oh, I was furious. And it's the level with zombie baseball. If you don't know what that is, it was the level that made me cry and rage quit on the PS3 version. The chainsaw blaster, thank Lord, was fixed because I actually refused to play the original due to how difficult that one segment is. If you know, you know. There was another specific part in the original version that had me in tears, which was during the meta video game level towards the end. It was giving a cool math games B-cubed type game. Yeah, this shit was just as hard as the original. Specifically here, it felt like there was a really big feedback delay on the controller. Every time I would move, it wouldn't move on time and it made me die over and over again. I even waited for this stupid fucking zombie here to throw this piece down. I was waiting for him to throw down the little block. I wait there. I move up one. And this fucker throws it down. Your decapitated head for a boyfriend does have special powers and will help you at your worst. Nick has a few extra bonuses, the main thing being the Nick ticket. So the Nick ticket allows you to use him as a weapon. You do use him to help you break things or jump to areas you can't do on your own. However, those are integrated into the game. Nick ticket allows you to do things such as the Nick toss, Nick popper, which is a quick grenade launcher, and Nick shake. What I do need to address next are the glitches. Oh boy, there were a lot during my playthrough. Now recently the game director went on X to say that there will be an upcoming patch on the game that will fix a lot of these issues. There would be constant issues like zombies being stuck in place or not moving. There would be times where I would actively try to hit a zombie and no damage would be done. I would waste so many of my special attacks and Nick tickets all for them to do nothing. What is up with so many recent releases being unfinished? I mean, this game was already delayed, and I think if the devs genuinely needed more time, no one was gonna freak out. I do want to say that I respect so much that the game was kept with everything in it. As I said earlier, this is a game that people say could never get ported because of the crazy ass shit that's in it.
Check it out! I gave it a makeover!
I am not an it.
Son, if you don't quit acting like a fruit, I'm gonna stick you in the juicer.
But on a story note, the game is really funny. There are a lot of good jokes that still feel relevant today.
Sensei Morikawa said wearing cotton underwear with little teddy bears or hearts is best for doing battle. He'd make me wear them to every class.
I'm so creeped out right now.
In terms of locations, it's primarily the school hallways, a basketball court, courtyard, you get it. As the game progresses, we do move to a few cool places, such as a farm, gaming area, and the city itself. There are multiple versions of the default zombie, such as a football player, farmer, and rocker to name a few. I think that the problem that this game has with enemies is that there's no diversity. Take a look at Resident Evil, for example. RE1 has a bunch of different enemies, like the Crimson Head, Hunters, fucking birds. I mean, whether or not they take the same amount of bullets to put down, they all have these special characteristics that make them fun to fight against when they do come around in later levels. Along with boss difficulty spikes, something like a zombie dog could have been a cool aspect to spice things up. Instead, we get a default zombie that might shoot at you once or twice. The repetitive gameplay is evident towards the middle of the game. I personally think my least favorite part of the game is the farm area. Why the fuck is Julia trimming crops and farming when she should be in fucking class? So the bosses play out the same way as the original. I wouldn't say that they are hard to beat, they're just annoying. Each boss likes to tease you with thinking they're dead, and then still being fucking alive for 5 more rounds. Spoiler, Lewis pissed me off. I kept killing him, he kept turning into an elephant, he would never die. Towards the end, I would get stun locked from his attacks, beating him with zero health left. There are 2 different endings to this game. Please be aware that you will probably get the bad ending on your first try, unless you save every single student in need. Then, well, the good ending you will get. Apart from Nick and Juliet, the cast of characters is fairly small. We only really see the family of Juliet. We have Cordelia, Rosalind, and her father. All great characters that unfortunately get a lack of screen time. I think that if this game were to do a remake, having a DLC for characters like Rosalind or Cordelia would be so cool. Oh my, I would buy that so quickly. They pop in once or twice after they're introduced, but we don't really get to see much of them. And I think from what we see, they are very well written characters and have so much potential. So as far as the Repop mode goes, it's just a censored version of the game. Graphically, it looks the same, just less blood, the random change of not having comic intros, and little silly changes to make the game more PG. I personally think it's stupid to censor a zombie game. A more practical option should have been to focus on one mode and then just have a button to toggle the blood to green.
Out of all the games to censor, you're gonna censor Lollipop Chainsaw? Have you seen the cover of this game?
Alright, yeah, so we pretty much covered Lollipop Chainsaw. This game has a great top tier soundtrack, semi-decent graphics, good for 1 to 2 playthroughs, digitally only for now, and a lot of extra outfits and goodies to get in game. I think that if you haven't played this game, you should go for it. It's a cult classic that I feel needs to be experienced once, and if this game does well, we are looking at a bigger life for the Lollipop Chainsaw series. Let me know if you guys are going to get this game, or you're just gonna opt out and play it on the PlayStation 3 or the Xbox 360. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.